Aye.
Good evening, everyone. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided by sending such notice to the Asbury Park Press, the Middletown Patch, and the Middletown Township Public School District website, and the posting of such notice at the August T. Minor Administrative Offices and each elementary, middle, and secondary school in the district. Roll call.
Mrs. Cameneti,
Here.
Mr. Fitzgerald, Mrs. Minimes,
Here.
Mrs. Gulaski,
Here.
Mr. Safarowski,
Here.
Mr. Toll,
Here.
Mrs. Wright, Mrs. Tobacco,
Here.
Here. I now need a motion for executive session to discuss personnel litigation matters.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? See you in a little bit.
One.
Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to start this evening with curriculum and instruction. Mr. Tull.
Thank you, sir. Yes, we met last week on the 20th. For a bit of a light agenda given that it was August, but a few good highlights that I'll hit. Just a couple things on the agenda tonight. We're voting on a, what I think is a really cool field trip opportunity for High School North. Students going to Boston and Salem, Massachusetts for a mix of Freedom Trail items as well as obviously Salem Witch Trials and all that stuff. So that just was very cool. Excited about that. We have a revised curriculum guide for Algebra 2 with data applications. This was designed by our curriculum team to align better with the NJGPA requirements and get away from what seemed to be an overemphasis on pre-calculus concepts for students who maybe needed to focus more on skills to get them ready for graduation. Couple announcements: college admissions counselor visits will be starting September 16th. So keep an eye out for that. And the students can see in the Naviance platform the opportunity to register for those meetings. There are a couple of presentations for students and parents regarding college selection. On October 8th will be the Finding Your Best Fit presentation with Rob Franick, who's been here before. He's from Princeton Review. He gives a great presentation on different factors to take into account when you're preparing to apply to colleges. And also another important one on September 18th is a presentation on how financial aid and scholarships work when you're preparing for college. So that'll be September 18th. That'll be virtual and that'll be available by email. We're sending out a link to parents to register for that.
Thank you, Mr. Tull. Moving on to student services, and I think Mr. Cullen, you going to take that, or Ms. Wright's absence, or Gary take it?
Sure, I'll
There you go.
thanks. We also met the Special Services Committee. Ms. Wright's not here, so I'll touch on the highlights for that. We got an update on the Lincroft Annex project for our transition program. Construction moving along. JCP&L had some work to do involving a transformer installation. That's causing a bit of a delay, but they still anticipate that process being done by mid-September. But the ongoing plan is still already in effect to continue the program at High School South as it's been, because it wasn't sure that the annex would be open for the day one start of the school year. But things are moving ahead, and that JCP&L project should be done by mid-September. The schedule for Middletown Township Friends of Diverse Learners has been set. They have meetings on Wednesday, September 24th, Wednesday, January 21st, and Wednesday, April 22nd. Those meetings are always virtual and a great opportunity for anybody with special needs students or who's entering the district and is curious about special education offerings that we have here. I guess that covers the highlights.
Thank you, Mr. Tull. I'm going to turn to Ms. Doherty for finance and facilities.
Finance Committee met on August 20th. The committee talked about the responses that were received on our recent special education attorney RFP. We have not made a consensus on setting up interviews and moving forward, but the board will do that in the near future. We also talked about the voting agenda items for tonight's agenda. We have two transportation bids that are being awarded for special education routes and athletics. So that would complete the bids that we need to start the school year with everything covered. We also have our ESEA allocation that we received, approval of our program plan and budget on tonight's agenda. The district share of the allocation is $559,000. There's $32,000 of non-public money involved there. The level of funding we received is comparable to last year, so we were happy to see non-significant change in that. And that was all for the Finance Committee, the highlights there. We also met with the Facilities Committee on August 20th before the Finance Committee. We talked about the summer projects that we have going Mr. Tolt just mentioned Lincroft Annex, that was one of them, so we do agree with that report out. Anticipated timeline for JCP&L is mid-December. Other improvements are still progressing, September, I'm sorry. Other improvements are still progressing. We have an update, we updated the committee on the scoreboards, and I have a further update today. The High School South scoreboard is actually operational. I was over there today, we saw the scoreboard display, the graphics, the sound system, so there will be training on that tomorrow. It will be operational for the game on Thursday. They are still working on the High School North scoreboard, and that will also be ready for North's first home game, which is September 12th. We also talked about some of the other repairs that needed to be done on the High School North track under the warranty. Those are being scheduled and handled with the manufacturer. And we also talked about the ongoing bleacher repairs that the board approved for both stadiums outside. We have parts on order, and work will be taking place when the parts come in, and will continue when the school year starts. We can do it during the day when the school is in session. We also talked about the voting agenda items. We have tonight a generous donation from the New Monmouth PTA Playground Committee. They are graciously donating playground equipment, which is valued at almost $30,000. Consists of a climber, a 4-seat teeter-totter, a picnic table, a chessboard, drums, and a glockenspiel. So the district is also working with them, and we recently submitted an application to a Kaboom, which is a national nonprofit organization that grants funds to adjust play space and equity. So we're hoping to get some funds to supplement their fundraising efforts there. So we thank the New Monmouth PTA. We also have an Airedale replacement for River Plaza for a classroom in that school. That's on the agenda for tonight at a replacement cost for the equipment and installation of approximately $60,000. And that's all we have to report out.
Thank you, Ms. Doherty. Moving on to policy, Mr. Pack.
Hi, policy committee met actually this evening before the board event meeting. There's nothing on this agenda for first read, but we did discuss policy 7113, school closings. We discussed a new policy for artificial intelligence, and policy for sportsmanship, and a regulation for away from the day, the cell phone policy that would just extend social media consequences to the elementary. And so those will be talked about. Our superintendent is going to work on the artificial intelligence policy of our curriculum committee, and we'll get back to it next month.
Jackie, when will we hear about the school closing policy and what you're talking about changing in it?
It was just presented tonight.
She's going to talk about it tonight?
No, that's all. We just talked about it tonight, but there's nothing.
But can we know what was discussed at the board?
All it was presented, the policy was presented, we discussed it, and Jessica said that she's going to, I guess, address it for the next meeting.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna take suggestions from the public, look at the policy we currently have, and then create a draft version to share with the full board.
So no recommendations were made?
The committee did not make any recommendations.
No, not as of today.
And this is not on the agenda. None of these policies are on the agenda.
No, I understand that, but being had a committee meeting, I was just curious about the conversation.
Do you need a copy of the policy?
No, I just wanted to know what the discussion was.
Thank you. Moving on to public comment on agenda items only. If anybody wishes to make public comment, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for us.
Helping address the resolution.
Scott McPherson, Middletown resident. Just one thing in the agenda that I noticed that I would commend the school district on is the memorandum of understanding between Middletown Board of Education and Kingsburg regarding the arts program here at Middletown and the criminal justice program in Kingsburg. Great collaboration between the school districts, and if we can do that, move more moving forward, do that with various school districts, and also collaboration with our township as well would be, helpful to our students. Thank you.
Would anyone anyone else wish to make public comment? Seeing no further comments, I wish to close public comment and move on to our superintendent's report.
Great, thank you. I want to take this time to officially welcome everybody back to the 2025-26 school year. We're excited for our staff and students to return. Our staff will be back in our buildings tomorrow, and they have professional development Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then our students return on September 2nd, which is Tuesday. Just a reminder to all parents to please make sure that the back-to-school forms are completed in the Genesis Parent Portal. That's important, and certainly provides access to class placements and schedules for our secondary students. A strategic planning update. Our last strategic planning session with New Jersey school boards is on Thursday from 6 to 7:30 at the high school north cafeteria. As with the last two sessions, the information will be posted on the website for access to the community following the session. We are also still awaiting the results of our building utilization and boundary analysis. Once we have that information, it will be presented to the school community. Our steering committee will meet sometime after we have those results back to work in those subcommittees that they volunteered for and create the action plans for the 5-year strategic plan. Our goal is to have this board approved in early 2026, January, February area. The New Jersey Department of Education has informed us that there will be a new version of both the high school NJ GPA, which is the graduation assessment, and our NJ SLA for the spring of this upcoming school year. The assessments will now be adaptive in nature, which means that the question difficulty will adjust based on a student's previous responses. We're hoping that this will provide us more granular information about students' performance level and better aligned with our iReady platform. And that will also give us better indication of a student's performance relative to grade level standards. There is a pilot that will be taking place with field tested questions in the fall that we are awaiting more information on, but it won't count, we won't see results. It's really just so that the state behind the scenes can work with the vendor to ensure that that test can be conducted with fidelity in the spring.
So are they saying that the test is not going to be consistent for every student?
Correct.
It's going to adapt?
It adapts based on previous responses.
So how do you have any kind of comparative?
They have not shown us any metrics yet. There is going to be what is considered, like with our iReady, what is considered grade level, and everything will be benchmarked towards there. Right now, when we have students, particularly those that are overperforming or underperforming grade level, it becomes really hard to get exact information because it only, that is a static set of questions that are always at grade level. This will give us adjusted questions above and below grade level, so we'll be able to get a more exact pinpoint read on where the student's performance is relative to what is considered grade level. So that would be the standard. We have very, very limited information. If you've been following the news cycle at all, this was definitely not something on anybody in the state's radar. The state sent out a broadcast, quite to the shock of school districts across the state. So that's the only information we have right now, is that it's happening. So hopefully we'll get more very soon. We are partnering with Whitson's to bring universal free breakfast to the school district. All students in the district will be entitled to free breakfast upon arrival at school each morning. We're working with each building's leadership team to iron out the logistics. Students will be able to get breakfast and have adequate time to eat at the start of the school day. Having a nutritious breakfast obviously has a tremendous impact on learning, so we're excited to have this opportunity with Whitson's. The school district, in partnership with the Middletown Alliance, is hosting a youth wellness event on October 16th here at High School North from 5 to 7 o'clock in this room. Families will be able to connect with support for their children and overall wellness vendors within the community. Congratulations to both High School North and High School South. They were both named to the U.S. News and World Report Best in High School list, both at the national and statewide level. This is certainly a credit to all of the hard work that our students and staff put forward. And, with any opportunity we get to celebrate, we do. So congratulations to those two buildings. Hopefully our middle school and elementary school information will be out soon. We are excited to announce that we've been able to make some significant gains in support of our fine and performing arts program over the last few months. First, we have been able to purchase new sound equipment for each of the 2 high school marching bands, something that has been a long time needed. We have also in the works new uniforms for the high school South Marching Band, which they will receive in the fall of 2026. It takes a year to get those. Their uniforms have not been replaced since 2012. High School North did receive them back in 2021. So it's time for South to have an update. Additionally, we've been able to dedicate funds for materials and supplies to art and music at each level, elementary, middle, and high school, instead of solely using building budgets to support these areas. And then finally, we have carved out financial support for our secondary schools' theatrical performances for sets, costumes, and security. We're hoping these efforts create a greater degree of equity in all of our educational areas. In our counseling world, we have filled our head counselor positions in each of the high schools to help offset the elimination of an assistant principals in each of our high schools. And we have also added back a guidance counselor at Bayshore using a piece of our federal funding that is on the agenda tonight, but we just received word that our federal funding is intact. So that was a good, something that came late in the summer, but certainly we're happy that it did, because we were able to do things like that. And lastly, instead of facilitating our parent information sessions that we held in the evening virtually, we're going to continue to evolve our model, which was springboarded from our former PIC committee. And I'm going to be establishing with my cabinet team 3 superintendent council teams, an elementary, a middle, and a high school team. These teams will consist of parent representation, staff representation, and student representation, and will be think tanks for district initiatives and improvements. In the near future, I'll be sending out an interest form to all parents. If you're interested, please complete the form, and we'll be collaborating with our principals in forming these councils, and we're looking forward to having representatives from each building. Lastly, I just want to wish everyone a successful school year, and we are certainly excited to welcome our students back next Tuesday. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Alphone. Means that somebody go too quick. Tuesday, right?
Thank you. This evening, I would ask the board for a motion to approve meeting minutes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, K, and L.
So moved. Second.
Roll.
Mrs. Caminiti,
Yes.
Mrs. Minies,
Yes.
Mrs. Glasky. Oh, no, I'm J. Mr. Safarowski,
Yes.
Mr. Tull,
Yes on all, no on J. Item.
Yeah, but that's not part of the motion.
That's not for me.
Yeah, he's distracted.
No, we didn't do that. We're not doing
I'm a
it.
yes on the motion.
Mrs. Tobacco,
Yes.
Mr. Tull.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Now pursuant to discussion in executive session, we need a motion to amend item J to extract action item 7J, item 10P, 11C.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call on the motion to amend.
Mrs. Caminiti,
Motion to amend.
Yes.
Mrs. Minies,
Yes.
Mrs. Glasky,
No.
Mr. Safarowski,
Yes.
Mr. Tull,
Yes.
Mrs. Tobacco,
Yes.
Mr. Tull.
Yes.
So the motion to amend to extract action item 7J, 10P, 11C, and J is granted. Now we need a motion to approve item J as amended.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Roll call you.
Mrs. Caminiti,
Yes.
Mrs. Minies,
Yes.
Mrs. Glasky,
No.
Mr. Safarowski,
Yes.
Mr. Tull,
Yes.
Mrs. Tobacco,
Yes.
Mr. Tull.
Yes.
Now, finally, per the discussion in executive session, motion for reconsideration on an action item from the June 24th meeting 7J, item 10P, 11C.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Caminiti? You're voting on, you're re-voting on the amendment.
Yes. Yes.
Mrs. Minions?
Yes.
Mrs. Golaski?
No.
Mr. Safarowski?
Yes.
Mr. Toll?
Yes.
Mrs. Tobacco?
Yes.
Mr. Capone?
Yes.
Motion to reconsider passes. Now we need a motion to approve or disapprove action item 7J, 10P, 11C, previously voted on up to 624.
So moved.
Second.
Just like who moved that?
I did.
And second?
Second.
Who? Mark.
So that's as amended.
Is this the whole minute?
No, it's just.
No, wait a minute, hang on, we got to do one at a time. So I'll just go this way to this way. It's a new vote, the motion to reconsider passes, so it's an entirely new vote on item 7J, 10P, 11C from the June 24th meeting. I'm sorry, what was your
Okay,
question?
you answered it.
Oh,
Roll calling.
Mrs. Caminiti?
Yes.
Mrs. Minions?
Yes.
Mrs. Golaski?
No.
Mr. Safarowski?
Yes.
Mr. Toll?
Yes.
Mrs. Tobacco?
Yes.
Mr. Capone?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, I need a motion to approve 8A, which is acceptance of a donation from New Monmouth Elementary School PTA.
So moved. Second?
Roll calling.
Can we have discussion for 1 minute? I just want
Sure.
to say one thing. I was fortunate enough to attend the New Monmouth PTA fundraiser for this playground improvement. These parents did a phenomenal job. This donation is exceptional, so I do hope we get some funds to help match it up, but they did a terrific job, so thank you.
Mrs. Caminiti?
Yes.
Mrs. Minions?
Yes.
Mrs. Golaski?
Yes.
Mr. Safarowski?
Yes.
Mr. Toll?
Yes.
Mrs. Tobacco?
Yes.
Mr. Capone?
Yes. Now I need a motion to approve 8B, whereas on August 18, 2025, council is directed to and did file a verified complaint in order to show cause against JJF, docket number MON-C-000146-25. Now therefore be resolved, the board hereby ratifies and affirms the filing of the lawsuit and directs council to continue to pursue relief sought.
So moved. Second?
Roll call.
Mrs. Caminiti?
Yes.
Mrs. Minions?
Yes.
Mrs. Golaski?
Yes.
Mr. Safarowski?
Yes.
Mr. Toll?
Yes.
Mrs. Tobacco?
Yes.
Mr. Capone?
Yes. And now I need a motion to approve 8C, a resolution to approve the settlement and general release in OAL docket number EDU 13011-2025S.
So moved. Second?
Everybody's okay with that?
Yeah.
Mrs. Caminiti?
Yes.
Mrs. Minions?
Yeah.
Mrs. Golaski?
Yes.
Mr. Safarowski?
Yes.
Mr. Toll?
Yes.
Mrs. Tobacco?
Yes.
Mr. Capone?
Yes. And I need a motion to approve business office consent agenda 9A through I.
So moved. Second?
Roll, discussion? Roll call in.
Mrs. Caminiti?
Yes.
Mrs. Minions?
Yes.
Mrs. Golaski?
Yes.
Mr. Safarowski?
Yes.
Mr. Toll?
Yes.
Mrs. Tobacco?
Yes.
Mr. Capone?
Yes. And I need a motion to approve recommendation of the superintendent of schools consent agenda 10A through H.
So moved. Second?
Roll call.
Mrs. Caminiti?
Yes.
Mrs. Minions?
Yes.
Mrs. Golaski?
Yes.
Mr. Safarowski?
Yes.
Mr. Toll? Mrs. Tobacco? Mr. Capone?
Yes. All right, moving on to old business. Does anybody have any old business?
I I actually do. I have a question for Dr. Alfano. Around town, talking to people, trying to get people involved in the strategic planning, there are many schools that feel that their school is not affected. As of this point, it's my understanding that we don't know if any school is going to be affected, but no schools are left out of being affected. Is that true?
Correct. So part of what information we're gathering at this point is the residencies of all the students that live in the district, where those lines are drawn now for those sending zones. And certainly one of the goals of getting that study back is to see where populations can be shifted to alleviate some of the higher class sizes and populated buildings in areas of town, and to create more equity in how those populations are spread out. We have no predeterminations over number of buildings, locations of students, so we ask the associates that we're working with to take everything with a blank slate and create the best case scenario based on what currently exists and where students reside now, which means that every single person in the district is a part of this process in a sense.
And that's what I think is important to be said, because I keep trying to engage people to join strategic planning, because once a decision's made and people feel that their schools weren't a part, it's too late to come back and start over again. So it's better to have everybody involved now than to try to say, people saying, well, I didn't know it was my school, whatever.
Right.
So I think clarifying now is good. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to new business. Does everyone have new business? No new business? Okay, we're going to open the microphone up for public comment on non-agenda items. If you have a comment, please step to the microphone, state your name and address the board. Seeing no one stepping to the microphone.
Already are. I'll go first.
Hi, I'm Katie Littlepage. I'm very tired because I woke up at 4:30 this morning. I live in Middletown. I woke up at 4:30 this morning. I worked a 12-hour shift in the hospital. I wanted to come to this meeting because I care about my children, one of whom is entering the district this year as a kindergartner, and one who will be entering in a couple of years. This is the third meeting in a row that I've attended this summer. I've been attending pretty much all the meetings since March, but third meeting in a row I've attended this summer that has not begun at 7:30, as is the approximation on the website. Now, approximation to me, if they're going to start at 7:30, maybe, okay, you're a little late, 7:45. But on June 24th, I arrived at 7:30 along with many people who are sitting here, people who are not here tonight, and we were waiting outside for 1 hour. We came in at 8:30 for the public portion. On July 29th, at the Board of Education meeting, we were waiting outside for 2 hours. We did not get to come into the building for the public portion until 9:30 p.m. to start the public portion. And tonight, on August 26th, we were waiting outside for 75 minutes, and we did not get to come inside until 8:45 to start the public portion. So I, along with many other residents of Middletown, are extremely tired. And I know that many people have given up and they've stopped coming. And just like Ms. Minuez is saying, she's trying to engage members of the public to be engaged with the Board of Ed, as we all should be. And I commend you and I thank you, Ms. Minuez, for doing that. But this board is making it awfully difficult to achieve that. I ask you to please quit disrespecting the public. If you say the meeting is going to be open to the public at 7:30, we need to find a way for the meeting to start at 7:30. This is unacceptable. And I've heard in the June meeting, Ms. Minuez brought it to the attention that her solution would be for you all to meet as committee of the whole. I believe is the phrase, committee of the whole. To me, that sounded efficient, because what's been happening with these subcommittees, and we don't know what's going on, and we're taking up all this time and trying to piece things together, slapshod, last minute, it's wasting everybody's time and it's disengaging the public. And so I thank Ms. Mingers for bringing that up. It came to a vote. It was ultimately voted down. I thank Ms. Caminiti in July, the July 29th meeting. She brought it up again. We'd like to go into a committee of the whole. At this point, we only had 8 members of the board in July, the July 29th meeting, because Mr. Fitzgerald is no longer here. And 4 members voted for committee of the whole and 4 members voted against it, and then it just went away. So is that the policy when something is brought up, there's no tiebreaker? I'm not sure what the solution is here.
Can we explain, like, in closed session, the reason we're going over is because we have confidential stuff that we need to explain to the whole board, because that's the one time that we meet? I mean, we should
Pretty much
give,
said it, confidential, time consuming.
sometimes we have a lot, sometimes we have
Policies
nothing.
everywhere, obviously.
So the last couple meetings,
We never know what's happening in that exec session.
So what is the solution to respect the public? Because the public has been disrespected for 3 meetings in a row, so what is the solution?
we should start at that at 8 o'clock. At least put the 8 o'clock time.
The public session is at 8 o'clock. That's what it used to be.
And if we go over a little.
I don't know if that's the solution, because in June, the public came in at 8:30. In July, we came in at 9:30, and tonight we came in at 8:45. So I don't think starting it at 8 is gonna be the solution.
I don't think it's anything new, it's been like this for years.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter that it's been like this for years.
It all depends.
The public needs to be respected, the public's time needs to be respected. Imagine if people said they wanted to be involved, and so they hired a babysitter to come so they could be here from 7:30 to 8:30, and then they're just waiting outside for that whole hour that they paid the babysitter for. This is unacceptable.
We're not looking to disrespect. We're really not. Bottom line is, when we discuss, we can't discuss in front of everybody. Even if we were a committee of the whole, what we had to discuss was advice and legal stuff that was brought to our attention. And that's why, if you notice our agenda, there was so many changes and stuff. That's what we were discussing. We couldn't help it. It had to get done, and that's what's happening. I don't know how we curtail it more, but there's nothing we could do about it. If we don't have.
I have a suggestion.
Go ahead.
If you say the public meeting starts at 7:30, and you have your private session before that, and it comes up upon 7:30, is it possible to then pause your private session, have your public session, and then reconvene your private session afterward?
The only
It's not
problem
only
with
we
that
have to
is,
vote on something in the private session.
When we talk
Like
about
there, like what we
executive
discussed
session
tonight, they ended up voting on in the meeting. So that sounds reasonable, but it's not always doable because of what's being discussed in executive session.
And your points are valid 100%, but I will say for 90% of the time, minus the 3 past meetings, we are on time at 8 o'clock. But
100% of the meetings for the last 3 months have not been on time and have been grossly over.
Like I just said, the last 3 meetings, you are correct. But prior to that, that's why the meeting was on 7:30, the process was done with exec session on 7:30. Yes, different months have different things that we're voting on, different situations, different issues arise in exec session. That's why we need to speak more, get it right, come out here and do our business.
Okay, that's not a solution. What is the solution to honoring the public's time?
Man, I'm sorry, I can't answer your question right now, but we'll talk about it as a board and we'll let you know, but we want to be respectful of your time as well as all of our time here that we're doing this as well for the Middletown community. So, unfortunately, we're over our time limit, but we will definitely take your advice and understand that we do our best to try and hit those target times.
I'm deeply dissatisfied with this answer,
I'm
and
sorry,
I will be raising it again at the next.
thank you.
Vera Pasaki, Ashire Drive. I have to admit, I didn't know it said it started at 7:30. I was just showed up at 8, so I might have missed a few again. Just a real quick clarification, the annex, is the plan to be itself for the whole year?
No,
Or once
no.
the annex is set?
We're
then-
hoping by October 1st.
Okay, so it's just a temporary?
Temporary.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Waiting on JCP.
yeah, delay with the power.
Just a recommendation, I don't know if it's already in the works, but it might be useful to have an email go out about cell phones and dress code. I know people don't like to address the dress code at high school, but it is really bad. So I think it might be worthwhile to reemphasize what the rules are surrounding those. And also, once everybody kind of gets in place, it'd be really nice, I know I've talked to you, Mr. Collins, about the roles. Everything just says assistant principal or, even looking at the assistant superintendents, I realized I don't even know who has athletics under them anymore. Is that you, Mr. Renard? Oh, okay.
Hasn't changed.
So, yeah, but I mean, it just says human resources. It's hard to understand who to turn to. And the high school is the same way. The assistant principal is just assistant principal. So you're like, where do I go? As well as the curriculum folks. You don't know what.
If you look at the chain of communication, that's helpful, because it does give you the who do you go to for what, from building level up.
For science, for.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I just kind of looked at the pictures.
Yeah.
Also, would it be obnoxious for me to ask who this gentleman is that's at our meeting?
We don't know who he is. We have no idea he showed up here.
I said, bring him in.
I mean, I just sat through the beginning of the meeting, which I didn't understand half of the things you were voting on, so.
He was the problem.
Voting him out.
I'm special counsel to the Board of Education.
Oh, okay, I thought that was,
He's our regular
general
general counsel.
got it. Thank you so much.
I'm regular, he's special.
That's what he is.
Emily Downey with town. I looked at the agenda a few times. You voted on something tonight that I don't think was in the agenda. Can you clarify, and I could be wrong, 1301125JF? What did you vote on tonight?
I believe it was legal.
Sorry, this one. That was a resolution to ratify pending legal action in Superior Court of Monmouth.
Can you tell us more?
Not particularly because it is pending litigation, the board does not typically comment on active litigation.
So I was voting on tonight, but wasn't on the agenda anywhere.
No, it was discussed in executive session, and because it's litigation, it was voted on this evening.
So the public how we ask a question about it if it's not on the agenda?
Well, there is a public comment period. You just asked a question about it. Does it involve active litigation? With respect to this district, this board does not comment on active and pending.
I don't want to comment on the active investigation.
No, litigate. Now,
Litigation. But we have a portion of public comment where we can ask questions about what the board is going to vote on. So now you voted on that, which made it final, but we had no information on what you guys were actually going to ask questions or comment before that vote was made.
well, there are two public comment sections. One's for agenda items only, and then there is another public comment section for any concern that the public may have, including any agenda items that are involved.
Okay, so how did I know to talk about an agenda item if it wasn't in the agenda? Or it's voted on?
That's what the second public comment
So
period.
you voted on it.
Correct.
So is that correct for the public not to know what's on the agenda before you guys vote on it? So now I can talk about it after the fact that it's already voted on?
The public notice and public comment periods comport with the Open Public Meetings Act, yes.
But it's not in the agenda. And it was an agenda item tonight voted on.
I know you don't appreciate my answer,
It's not
but
that I
again,
appreciate it, sir, all due respect, Mr. Burns, but if you're gonna have something in the agenda, where's the addendum? Where is it the fact that you guys are voting on? So how would we know to talk and ask a question about what this was about?
Even if it was on the agenda prior, we wouldn't be at liberty to expose what the topic was, as far as I know, is that correct? Which is why we had such a
Is
long
that correct, Mr.
exec
Burns?
session.
I believe the resolution that was presented details both the initials as well as the docket number and where it was filed.
So what you say is tonight, all appropriate procedures were followed, where the public shouldn't have had comment or notice in the agenda that you guys are voting on something tonight.
All actions tonight comport with the Open Public Meetings Act.
I appreciate that, thank you.
My name is Erin Constantin in Monmouth. I just wanted to say a quick thank you to Joan and Gary for your support for our fundraising, and Amy and Adam, thank you so much for everything you've done so far up to this point. Hoping to get the grant that we applied for, but obviously I just want to put on record that if not, I'm expecting us to reapply for the LRID grant for us for next year. I'm hoping that's still the plan if we don't get the money from this, because whereas $30,000 has helped, it really isn't bringing a ton to the playground, and we still need more. So I just wanted to put that on record. But thank you so much for everything so as of this point.
Thank you. Yep.
Scott McPherson, Middletown. Just to talk about Emily's point about that, and it not being on the agenda, sorry, Mr. Burns. Also an attorney, certified civil trial attorney. I'm looking at e-courts. It was filed on August 18th. So why was it on the agenda? I understand that you're talking about an executive session. I'm sure there's things that have been on the agenda before that have been discussed in executive session. So again, this is just another example of the board talking about things and voting, discussing things that the public doesn't know about until after it happened. So this is another example of that. So all we're asking for is transparency. If we want to know what's going on, you could have put it in the agenda and said, hey, this is something we're voting on tonight. We wouldn't be privy to your discussions during executive session, right? So, I mean, you clearly filed the verified complaint, and I don't have an opinion on it one way or the other. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. I didn't really get a chance to read it because I didn't know it would even be brought up tonight at board meeting, right? So I didn't even think to look for it until you started talking about it and said it was litigation. So then I went in on e-courts and typed in a name. And sure enough, there it is. So there's no reason why it wasn't on the agenda. So again, and I know I'm repeating myself, but it's just another example of the public not being informed about what's going on. And we just want to know what's going on. That's all we're asking for. Thank you.
Hope everybody had a good summer. Eric Dowell, also a Middletown resident. I'm also an attorney, but I'm not going to ask about the same subject matter, which might be a relief. I want to revisit briefly something I'd like to talk about anymore, which was something known as Plan A, where now that we're back here, we're rounding into election season, we want to nail down a few details. First, with respect to timing. We heard at the June meeting that I believe it was Mrs. Tobacco who said this, that she and Mr. Capone had been meeting with Superintendent Alphone for approximately 1 year to discuss, quote, what to do with this district. I presume that means the work that eventually led to Plan A. So the first question is whether it was approximately 1 year with work starting in June of 2024, or whether it was even longer, just an approximation from folks who were involved on when work started with respect to what eventually became Plan A. Was it a year? Was it a year and a half? Was it 2 years?
I never said it was I've never said that.
It was right at the end of the meeting.
Never said that.
I'm paraphrasing. Meeting for the past year with respect to what to do with this district. Me and Mr. Capone meeting with, we've got the clip, but put the clip aside. The question is how long this was in discussion before the public was notified.
What's your question? I'm not following because I don't recall.
We all remember Plan A. It was released to the public in, I believe, March or April. How long was the work taking place that preceded the public finding out about it?
I'm lost in your question.
We've said this over again, the board was informed as a whole.
As a whole.
As a whole, a month
Superintendent.
before.
As a whole.
Okay. And the folks who were working on it were in depth.
Working on what?
What, Plan A didn't come out of nowhere. It had data. It was a
That's
big.
the administration's job,
the
that is not the board's job.
And is it, I guess I can ask the question differently, Mr. phone, Mrs. Tobacco? Is it your representation that you found out about a month before as well because it was just the administration working on it? Or were you two in connection with?
What is this?
Yeah, I don't know that.
This is, Eric, you're well off base here, I'm just telling you.
No, it can be one or the other.
Well off base. That's
Were
what.
you all working with the administration in advance of the rest of the board finding out? It's a yes or no answer. And I don't know what the answer is, we're just interested in what the answer is.
I just told you well off base where your comment is, that's what I'm telling you. And you have 10 more seconds for your comments here.
Now you're concerned about time?
Okay, next question.
Your time's up. Thank you.
No, it's not.
Would anybody else wish to make a public comment?
Go ahead. Go back up to the limit. Okay, fine.
Erin Torres, Neighbors Inc., I yield my time.
Would anybody else wish to make a public comment?
Still, this is my time. I'll stand if you want me to.
No, you don't have to give me your time, just slowly, speak it.
I don't want to weigh in here, but I think we have a little bit of a misconception. And I think both from the board side and the public side of what public comment is. Public comment is an opportunity for the public to voice their comments to the board and for the board to consider the comments that the public provides, both before the public comments on agenda items as well as after in the second comment period. The Open Public Meetings Act only requires one public comment session in every public meeting. The Middletown Board of Education has 2 public comment sessions. Very clearly in the Open Public Meetings Act, public comment is not public question and answer. It's not public debate. It is not public cross-examination. It's the opportunity for the public to express their concerns to the Board of Education on matters that they believe are important, whether they affect the district, whether they affect the schools, or whether they affect the town. It's your opportunity to comment on anything that you believe is important. That's what public comment is. So however the board wishes to address those comments, however the board wishes to interact with the public, it is up to the board. But that is under the Open Public Meeting Act, what is required and what public comment is. I defer.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. I believe the board's own rules expressly contemplate the ability to ask questions and receive answers at Board of Ed meetings. It certainly happens all the time. We get answers from the administration. Sometimes we get answers from individual board members. And if you'd like us to send you that rule, I could be wrong, I don't have it in my pocket, but I'll frame the rest of this as comment rather than question and answer. What we have come to believe based on talking to people, both publicly and privately, reviewing documents from all over the place, is that work on Plan A began at least 1 year in advance of when it was disclosed to the public. We know that 7 members of the Board of Education were informed of it 1 month before it was released to the public. We have documents that show, or at least lead us to believe, that the following individuals were involved with that work. Members of the Shared Services Committee, which include Mr. Capone, Mrs. Tobacco. We're not sure about members of the Township Committee who are on that Shared Services Committee, that being the mayor and deputy mayor, how long in advance they knew. There's also a community member assigned to the Shared Services Committee. We believe she was appointed by the mayor. That's not publicly disclosed anywhere. That community member is Sarah Weinstein. If she is still on the Shared Services Committee, again, we can't see it, that is a wild conflict of interest because she is running for Board of Ed against sitting board members who are excluded from the Shared Services Committee. If that's something you all don't control and we need to raise it with Township, we will raise it with Township. Again, if she is still on that committee, that is a wild conflict of interest. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Would anyone else wish to make a public comment?
Emily Donahue, Golden resident. We've gone back and forth about public comment a few times, Mr. Burns. I don't think you were here for this, but I don't know what those rules are, but in your agenda, it does make comment twice about what public comment is supposed to be. Number 4 and 5 clearly state all statements, questions, or inquiries shall be directed to the board president. And any questions or inquiries directed by a participant to another board member shall be redirected, okay, and it shall be addressed on behalf of the board or by the individual. And then 5 says questions requiring investigation shall be referred to by the board by the superintendent's office for consideration and later response. As you can see, the public is confused maybe because it's mentioning the fact that only questions that need further clarification may be taken away. So I'm not quite sure if that's just the way that, like, policy based off of the way that the agenda is written, but am I wrong in thinking, and is the public wrong in thinking that 4 and 5 don't give us the right to ask questions? They expect a response, and if they can't be answered, it is then taken away, and then we get a follow-up email?
Again, as I indicated before, it is up to how the board wishes to address public comment, but there seems to be a little bit of a misapplication by both the board and the public with respect. It is not public interrogation, it's not a question and answer period. If the public has questions that can be summarily answered by the board and or the administration, it is the administration's right to answer those questions or not, as indicated in paragraph 4, where it says, if such statement, question, or inquiry shall be addressed. The if does not incline or mandate that the board answer every specific question. I think the board and the administration try to provide as much information as possible. Clearly, you don't believe that this board...
I didn't say that. Mr. Burns, it's simply just all due respect. It's just the way that we come here to ask questions, and we don't get the answers, so we come back asking the same questions. And I know you've only been here for a few months, and all due respect, but this has been going on for quite some time now. So I would just expect that if you don't want to answer the question, you can just say, we're not answering that question, we're not engaging with that conversation, instead of blank stares and dismissal. And then I would ask that, or now we'll just get into practice, if you can't answer it during public comment, we'll just send emails if we don't get the answers that we need. But moving forward, I mean, it doesn't really say that we can ask questions. If you don't like the way that they are, I just ask that you guys say, we're not answering that, or we're not engaging in that, or we'll have to take it away. It's just, I think it'd be a little bit more productive of a meeting if we had responses rather than blank stares. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Does anyone else wish to make a public comment?
Excuse me. Devin Rafferty, Leonardo. With regard to the survey, right?
Which survey are you referencing?
I would like to have a formal name for redistricting and for what our plan will be moving forward for overhauling. What would the official name of that be?
Official name of?
So, you know, that Plan A is out, right? Okay, so we're going to be doing a survey. It involves our existing facilities, business units.
Well, we have a utilization, facilities utilization and boundary study.
Okay.
That's
That should be
what the associate Ross Haber is producing for us.
Okay, that's what I was curious about. Okay, so within the confines, the parameters of that study, right, we're taking, the only considerations are going to be existing facilities and existing neighborhoods and where people live. Are we going to be forecasting it forward at all?
Yeah, we have a demographic study that definitely shows enrollments projected out 5 years.
Okay, and it's existing facilities?
Correct,
and-
yeah,
okay.
but that doesn't, like, all of our facilities are being evaluated. So
Right, I'm kind of curious.
everything's
So-
fair game. Lines, populations, buildings, it's kind of we have no preconceived plans. We're gonna look at the data and make the best decisions and recommend that to the board based on that information.
Yeah, was not accusing anybody of having any preconceived plans. I wanted to
Well,
understand.
that rumor's out there, that's why I said that.
Understood.
So,
I just wanted to understand the parameters with it. And so it's existing facilities. Is there any potential within there for new facilities?
potentially,
They
that
might
has not
come
been
back with
discussed yet,
something.
so we
they
don't
might-
have the details, and we won't have any details until we get that information.
Okay, and that would be released to, the report itself is going to be released to the public? Or in
Ross
periods-
Haber will come and present it at a board meeting to the public.
Okay. Would it sort of be the same
Yes,
PowerPoint
correct,
type?
correct.
So there's gonna be a lot of linear algebra in that thing, so I'd be hopeful.
I'm not a mathematician,
Yeah.
so I couldn't speak to that.
Is it, trying to phrase it as a statement rather than a question. I would find it odd if board members have communication with the consulting group doing that while the consulting group is out, right? While they're working on their own reports, while they're doing this on their own time. I suppose that a reasonable person wouldn't think there would be communication between a Board of Education or its administration and that consulting group.
Rapidly just wrap it up, I'm sorry.
Would you think that's a fair assumption? Does that seem to be something that a
I don't think
reasonable
we
person?
are gonna weigh in on that.
All right. I had a second thing, Mr. Cullen, you are in charge of curriculum. Does that also include learning mediums?
Learning mediums?
The medium and the modalities. Maybe you could talk afterwards. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment.
Hi, Kristen Rennie, Middletown. I just had a question about, I think it's 7113. You mentioned the policy, you just started the conversation, and then Dr. Hoffman, you said you were gonna involve the community in that
Well,
discussion.
we're going to look at the information the community sent us and consider it in conjunction with our current policy.
Okay.
That, there's no guarantees that those will be encumbered. We are just beginning those discussions.
Okay, yeah, that was my question, how is that gonna happen, but you mean what we've already gotten?
What we've already
The input you've
received. Yep.
Got it, thank you.
Anyone else wish to make public comment? Seeing no one who's stepping forward, wish to close the public comment and adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions. Have a great night, everyone.